Traditional mead is the simplest, most fundamental mead you will ever make. It is the base of the majority of meads you're going to make down the line. If you can master a basic mead really well, you will be in for a treat, a playbook, a great big mansion of fun of meads that will tickle your taste buds. So get it right and you will be in store for a heavenly drink which you're going to be making time after time after time. So join me today as we make the best traditional mead you're ever going to make. And it's so simple. And this mead is no frills. There's nothing extra added, no additional flavours to turn it into a braggart or anything else. It is the simple traditional mead made with honey, a pinch of lemon, and also a bit of tannin to bring out the earthy, deep vinosity of the mead. What we need, first of all, is 3 pounds of runny honey. That is approximately 1.36 kilograms. Yes, that's right, of honey. So grab yourself 3 pounds, 1.3 kilograms of honey. What I like to do is, before I use my honey, warm it in warm water. Don't boil it, don't overheat it. Just put it in a bucket or a bowl of hot tap water. It makes it run into your demijohn so well. Brilliant stuff. So grab yourself your honey, and then we want to move on to the demijohn. So grab yourself a clean, sanitized, sterilized demijohn, and simply grab yourself a funnel into the demijohn and start pouring your honey into the funnel and into the demijohn. Simple, efficient, effective. And do that for all 3 pounds worth, your 1.36 kilograms. You can use whatever type of honey you fancy, but make sure it is real, proper honey, not this artificial stuff, which is mostly sugar and a bit of colouring. You can also vary the quantity of honey you use. The 3 pounds I'm using will give you a mead of about 11.5 to 12%, which is perfect for an easy drinking sipper. You add a bit more honey, you will get a stronger alcohol content and a more full-bodied mead, which is ideal for winters. But if you make one with about 3 pounds at about 12%, it is a delightful, easy drinking, not too strong, not too heavy. And the aroma and the flavour of the honey will carry forward in that mead and just tickle your taste buds. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of variations of mead you can make. You add different fruits, you add different seasonings and flavourings and spices. It all makes a mead even more exciting. It's like winemaking. There is no end of possibilities. You can mix, you can match, you can create the mead or the wine that you want to drink yourself. If you have a passion for blueberries, make a blueberry mead. Brilliant stuff, fantastic. I actually have a recipe book of my best favourite mead recipes, and they are delightful. I've gone through each and every one, tested them over the years. I've had to drink a lot of mead in order to create this book, and I'll link it up by here and also down in the description below. And the next thing we're going to add to the honey to make this wonderful, traditional, simple, tasty, brilliant mead is the juice of 1 lemon. So cut your lemon in half and squeeze it into the demijohn. The citric acid of the lemon juice just helps to bring out a wee bite to the mead. It just tingles your tongue slightly as you drink it. And the citric acid also helps the yeast to ferment really well. It is an added fermentation aid, a nutrient, so to speak, but only not quite a nutrient, it's the acid. It's the acid which helps the yeast to ferment. Mead can be quite difficult to ferment at times. You need enough acidity to really get that yeast going to eat through the honey and fart out the alcohol which you want. And now to the demijohn with the honey and the lemon juice. You want to pour in 1 builder's mug of extra strong brewed tea. 1 tea bag in a mug, let it stand for 20 minutes, half an hour. Pour that in. But you want the tea bag and the tea to impart the tannin into the mead, which creates a lovely vinosity and cheek-sucking deliciousness to the mead. It rounds it off. It makes it deep, dark. It makes it dense in the mouth and tingles your tongue in just such a way which tea in wine brings out your wine or a mead to a whole new level. So what we need to do now, very, very simple, is top up your honey, lemon juice and tea with cold or lukewarm water. You don't want to ever introduce the honey to boiling water because that will strip away a lot of the aromas and delicate flavours of the actual honey in the finished mead. So just use warm, lukewarm tap water from the tap straight in to the demijohn. The tap water is warm. It will help that honey mix with it even better. If you use cold water, it will still do the same job. However, that honey at the bottom will not mix as well as quickly, and the yeast might struggle because it won't have the full density of the sugar of the fermentables within the honey that it needs to do its job. So top up your demijohn. One important thing to note is you don't want to top up your demijohn all the way to the very, very neck of the demijohn. If you do, when the yeast goes in and starts getting frisky with the fermentables, it will have a bit of a foam party, and foam and froth will ejaculate all through your airlock and make a right mess, going down everywhere, covering the bund. And it's always a bit annoying when your ejaculation makes too much of a mess. You have to tidy it up and it's most awkward. So don't top your demijohn up too much, just to the shoulder level of the demijohn. Now we want to insert a bun and give it a shake, give it a swirl, get that honey mixed in with all that water. You can also use a long-handled spoon to get right in there, penetrate it as far as you can, as deep as you can. Give it a good swirl. Get everything around mixed in. Juicy. Nice. You may see a heavier layer of the honey right down the bottom, but that will eventually work its way through into the mead itself as the yeast bobs up and down and penetrates and flocculates down. It will bring up the heavier honey layer with it. It will go down there. It will eat through that heavier layer. But as long as it's mixed in as much as you can, a small layer of the darker, heavier honey at the bottom is not a major problem. Don't stress too much. Don't be too precious about your mead or your wine. Make it. Perfection is never done. So create the best you can. If it's not quite there at this stage, there's a small layer. Don't stress. Don't have a glass of wine, gin and tonic, glass of mead, chill. So what we need to do now, simply, is add your brilliant mead yeast or any yeast you fancy. There are so many different varieties of yeast out there. Choose whichever one you feel will complement your wine or mead the best. Now I like Mead yeast by Cross My Loof. They're brilliant guys. They're a small British business making hops, yeast, etc. They are fantastic. I will link them down below as well, but I'm using a Mead yeast because it simply complements mead. It's designed for mead. So sprinkle in your chosen yeast, either a teaspoonful or a packetful. And now, simply, you've made yourself your mead. Well, you haven't made mead. The yeast and the honey will make mead, but you've got it underway. You've got it going. You've done the initial major steps. Now, it's just a case of insert your bun with an airlock into the demijohn, and it shouldn't ejaculate too much and make a mess. If it does, clean it up. Then after that major eruption that goes everywhere, top up your demijohn to the neck level, and hey ho, job done. You want to place your demijohn, your mead in progress, in a dark, warm place. Forget about it. You want to just let it ferment away until it stops bubbling, and check with the hydrometer that it has completely finished fermenting and it's fermented to dry. They're really easy to use. I've made a video about how to use a hydrometer. Simple. They take a little bit of understanding the maths behind them, but I also have a toolkit where it does all the calculations for you. That's linked in the video down below. So once it's finished fermenting and it's fermented to dry, have a wee cheeky sip of it and make sure it tastes how you want it to be. You can carry on step feeding it with more honey to bring the alcohol level right the way up. If it maxes out, which means it won't carry on fermenting no matter how much more fermentables you add, then you can move into the batch sweetening stage where the honey will sweeten it over instead of being turned into alcohol. Then you want to rack it off. So take away the liquid, the mead, from the sediment at the bottom, the leaves, the dead yeast, the particles from the honey, and anything else that might be in there which won't be in the liquid. Put it into another demijohn and forget about it for as long as you can. If this is your first mead, you probably won't want to leave it too long. But the longer you leave a mead, generally the better they do become. But it should be drinkable within 3 months or so. But the flavours will carry on improving, and 3 months is a very good time to have a wee test of it. If you can leave it 6 months, 12 months, 2 years even, it carries on getting better and better and better. So it's always worth making 2 or 3 gallons worth at the same time. Set one aside for this year, next year, and then the following year, and you will have a continuous supply. And if you're interested in how else you can perk up your mead and create something extra special, extra different, check out this video up by here. And you have a good day now. See you soon.